Welcome to Trier, a beautiful city in southern Germany, where life is peaceful along the banks of the Moselle River. But on the surrounding vineyard roads, the roar of rally cars will fill the air this weekend. It's round 9 of the FIA World Rally Championship, and it's time for tarmac. Every driver wants to win, and there are rivalries throughout the championship, as well as within teams. But is there competition between the drivers' engineers also? We catch up with Tom, Mikko's engineer, and Tim, who is Jari-Matti's. How close do you work together, Tom?
Well, we probably spend more time with each other than we do with our families, so that's the starting point.
Getting good results is crucial, and obviously there's rivalry between Mikko and between Jari-Matti, but is there a rivalry between the engineers in the team? That's what we want to know, is there?
Perhaps a little bit. Obviously we both want to win, but ultimately we work closely together, and the aim is to make sure that both cars finish in the highest positions possible. So that's the main aim, but for sure it's nice when you win.
We give them the best tools they can to go and win, and sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other. Obviously if it's Jari, then I'm a bit disappointed compared to if it was Mikko and Tim the other way around. So.
On usually the Thursday we have the shakedown. Typically we've already done quite a lot of preparation before then, quite a lot of paperwork and admin things that we share between us. On shakedown, again, one of the main priorities is making sure the drivers are happy and making sure that the cars are working 100%. So again, as Tom says, we look at the data of each car. If there's anything that we notice isn't quite right, we'll sort that between us. Likewise, if one driver has tried one thing at shakedown and finds that as a good improvement, we'll pass that over, and hopefully both drivers can get the benefit.
He doesn't take sugar in his coffee.
Is that right?
Yeah, fair enough.
And what about Tom?
My prefers tea. I try not to make it that often, but
No, like never.
Yeah, maybe.
There are 3 tarmac events in the second half of the season, and the Ford Abu Dhabi World Rally team have been busy preparing for the onslaught of asphalt.
We've spent a lot of time testing recently in France, and then just before this event, the earlier part of this week. And the guys have also spent some additional time doing tuition. So quite a lot of work has been done on the physical side, but also on the technical side. In terms of preparing the car and getting the setup right and so on. So yeah, there's been a tremendous amount of work being done.
We have had a good tests, I think. We have covered a lot of kilometers at different kind of roads. I'm more confident with this car than what I was in the Focus on tarmac. Because I have a feeling that I can get this car always turning. In the Focus, I was struggling with the turning sometimes because understeering, but this car seems to turn very, very well.
As we head to a different surface, we also see a change in the Fiesta WRC as it switches to tarmac spec. Let's rejoin Tim and Tom as they talk us through what's different for tarmac events.
The first thing you notice is the wheels and tyres are a lot different. We have a bigger wheel on tarmac, so on gravel, with a smaller profile tyre. The tyres, more a classic tarmac tread rather than a big gravel tyre for moving the gravel off the road.
Generally you have a lot more grip on tarmac than on gravel, so to use that grip to its maximum, if you have the car down on the ground, the tyres are a lot more grippy, and so it's really about getting the centre of gravity low down and maximising what you've got.
Behind the wheels we've got different dampers and spring arrangement on tarmac. They're a lot stiffer than the gravel ones. On gravel you always got to take into account the fact the road's very rough, so your main aim of your damper is to keep your tyre in contact with the road as much as possible. So on gravel we have quite soft dampers with long travel that keeps the tyre in contact over those rough bits, whereas tarmac you've got quite a good consistent surface, it's very smooth, so you can have a shorter damper that's lighter, and generally it's a bit stiffer just to keep the car from rolling around so much on the high grip surface.
So the engineers have outlined the differences to the car, but what about from the driver's perspective?
We have a lot more grip on tarmac, and the fastest way to go is just go as straight as you can, which means that you can't really slide the car at all. So you try to keep it as neat and lines as perfect as you can all the time. Like on gravel, sometimes we slow down the car by braking sideways and then slide around the corner, but on tarmac it just needs to be straight braking, nicely drive through the corner and then get the car straight and accelerate again, so it's a completely different way of driving.
It's a tough challenge, but this year for me it's a really exciting thing, because this is the first time we compete with these cars on tarmac against Citroën, and like everybody knows, we were quite a bit behind last year, especially on tarmac, and we are really confident with the new car and excited. The test has been fun, and Mikko seems to be very happy with the car, so I'm not saying that we are any closer or further away from Citroën, but it's very interesting to see how it is tomorrow morning when we put the clocks on.
New for this event will be the Michelin Pilot Sport asphalt tyre. The team's tyre guru George Black will be telling us all about it in our review vidcast, and you can also find out what Mikko and Jarmo are celebrating. The rally gets underway on Friday morning with 19 stages for the drivers to tackle. The challenge of Rally Germany awaits.
We've done everything we can, so it's down to the drivers now.